Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the President of the Republic congratulates his newly elected counterpart from Kenya, William Ruto. For the international scene, the drying up of the Rhine disrupt the transport of merchandise in Germany. Welcome to our newsroom. Message of congratulations from the President of the Republic to his newly elected counterpart. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, sent his warm congratulations to his newly elected counterpart of Kenya, Mr. William Ruto, who was declared winner of the presidential election held in these countries on August 9. Your election is undoubtedly the crowning achievement of an exemplary career made of political courage, perseverance, and creativity, President Guelleh wrote in the congratulatory telegram sent to Mr. William Ruto. There is also no doubt that the Kenyan people have decided in favor of your leadership of the principle of a grassroots campaign conducted with the pedagogy on the ground and over time, noted the head of state in the same document. I sincerely hope that your actions at the head of Kenya will lead to more welfare, progress, and prosperity for your country and your people, President Ismail Omar Guelleh said before reiterating his warm congratulations to the newly elected President of Kenya, Mr. William Ruto. Kenyan presidential election, William Ruto declared winner. The chairman of Kenya's Electoral Commission has declared Deputy President William Ruto the winner of the close presidential elections against five-time candidate Raila Odinga, a triumph for the man who has turned politics on its head by appealing to economically struggling Kenyans rather than traditional ethnic ones. Wafula Chebukati announced the incumbent Vice President William Ruto has garnered more than 7.17 million votes or 15.49% of the vote against 6.94 million or 48% for Raila Odinga, winning one of the closest elections in the country's history. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble, yesterday received a large donations of equipment, including electric wheelchair for the disabled, chairs for hospitalized patients, and hospital beds. These materials are granted by the NGO charity that helps people with special needs based in Norway. Attended this reception ceremony, the executive director of NGO charity, Ms. Dekha Haji Mahmoud, and all officials of the Ministry of Health. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble, thanked the NGO charity for their act of solidarity and generosity in favor of Djiboutian patients and promised that these important donations of materials will be distributed to different medical structures. Under the auspices of the Ministry of Agriculture, a workshop was held today to disseminate the results of the Rural Livelihoods Initiative for the Horn of Africa. This initiative focused on the urgency and recovery of agricultural production in the face of the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. This workshop was chaired by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Agriculture, Ibrahim Almi, in the presence of scientists, experts, and researchers from CERD and technical financial partners involved in this vast project, farmers, senior officials of the Ministry of Agriculture. Several themes were on the agenda of this workshop, namely access to seed, for the transformations of food system in Africa, the strengthening of seed policy in the IGAD region, the importance of varietal seed testing. Several presentations of the main results were made by Dr. Suge Sheikh, agropedologist researcher at SAD, and Ahmed Ibrahim, agricultural engineers at the Ministry of Agriculture. For his part, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Ibrahim Almi, has indicated in his speech that in order to fight against food insecurity and recurrent drought in the rural areas, the government of Djibouti, through the Ministry of Agriculture, has implemented a set of programs and projects of socio-economic development, which includes the mobilization of surface water, the installations of dam and reservoir, the establishment of intensive cultivations in greenhouses for the production of fruit and vegetables. The visit of the stand with the explanations of agropedologists researcher at CERD, the officials were able to discover several varieties of seeds adapted to the pedoclimatic context of our country. The seeds exposed during this workshop are tomato seeds, eggplant, and combo mainly. Djibouti is facing lately multiplications of fire. There is hardly a week without a fire being declared. Even if these fires are of average magnitude, their sources remain disturbing. Most of them are electrical frauds that result in a rather tragic drama. By wanting to defraud the electricity for a few hours and air conditioning, we end up with his family and neighbors in the streets and with the destruction of all their property. In this case, it is no longer that a simple fraud, but rather is an attack on the life of others. It is also now that the weather is of these times with this kind of Hamsin blowing at high speed constituted another potential danger that multiplies any fires and simple kitchen fire. The practices of shisha and its ember fires is another source of danger that can easily end in a disastrous. Here are the main causes of these fires, causes that are more dangerous than the others and that the population does not take into the consideration. The firemen also always on alert 24 hours a day are confronted with the fires caused by our lack of awareness. In addition to this state of affairs, our firefighters are confronted with the problems of urban roads. The access road to the interior of the districts are often obstructed by works or construction materials condemning these roads. This undeclared construction site with the prefectures and the municipalities makes the rescue impossible. The firefighters are also confronted with another obstacle, such as the obstructions of access road. Construction materials are often deposited on the roads, making rescue impossible. Due to the lack of access road. In addition, there is the problems of crowd and especially of children who are close to death by squeezing through the big trucks. So many factors that constitute an obstacle to emergency rescue faced. First, the directions of civil protection should begin a broad campaign with the media, of course, but also with the ulema, youth association and women, but also with the prefectures and mayor to awaken the collective consciousness of our fellow citizens and raise awareness on the origin of fires and the organizations of rescue. The local elected officials of the region of Arta hosted this morning in the Community Development Center of the sub-prefectures of Damerjog a meeting on the various investment projects of the sub-prefectures of Damerjog. This meeting was attended by the Secretary General of the Regional Council, local elected officials, the sub-prefect of Damerjog, the head of the CDC, civil society, and associations. The objective of this meeting is the number of investment projects to be planned for the year 2022 of the sub-prefectures of Damerjog of the regions of Arta. Finally, the ceremony closed with the tree planting in CDC Community Development Centers of Damerjog. Still in the continuity of the Summer Games, the regional sub-branch of OBOK organized yesterday several sports and traditional activities at the sports complex on the menu volleyball, traditional wrestling, pétanque, Koso, Ardaburda, table tennis, tekball. The event was honored by the presence of the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Mohammed Hamad Ismail, the Director of the Region of State Secretary for Sports, Mr. Yusuf Abdallah, the Coordinator of Sport, Mr. Ahmed Ali, Senior Executive of the State Secretary, Ali Muhammad Ali, the Deputy Directors of the Guled Stadium, Mr. Abdul Qadir Hamad, as well as several local elected local authorities. As a reminder, these activities that have been taking place for a month are in their final phase and allow young Djiboutians to learn, value, and especially preserve their tradition. Still in the framework of the 5th edition of the Islamic Solidarity Games in Konya, Djibouti athletes are still competing. This time it was around the Djibouti Judo Federation is represented by Miss Nahima Saad Hassan, registered in the 57 kilo category on the calendars of the Islamic Solidarity Tournament organized in Konya in Turkey. After an exciting fight, our young judoka defended herself with determination against her more experienced opponents under the advice and encouragement of her coach, Mr. Sasso Mohammed Sasso, who kept on haranguing his disciple through the matches applauded by the audience for her fighting sprite. Unfortunately, our young athletes lost to the Nigerian by a mobilization technique on the ground. We are still in the middle of the rainy season in Djibouti, and in the region the sky remains overcast despite some clearing. According to the weather agency, a rather rainy week is expected. Moderate rainfall is expected over the areas of Tejora, Dekhil, the coast of Obor, and Ali Sabih, and its surroundings. Light rainfall less than 20 millimeters is expected over the rest of the countries. In addition, there was a rainfall episode during the previous week, cumulative rainfall above 120 millimeters. The Direction of the Public Security of the National Police Forces launches a search notice to the population to find the young Sudeidi Mahad Ahmed, the 9-year-old was last seen in May 2022. He was wearing blue pants and shorts, as you can see on these pictures. Since that date, Sudeidi Mahad Ahmed remains untraceable. In cases of discovery or information on this yellow boy, please contact the standards numbers of the Central Police Station is 21 35 27 61, or go to the headquarters of the Police of Minors. For the international scene, Afghanistan, Taliban celebrate 1 year in power. This Monday marks the first anniversary of the return to power of the Taliban in Afghanistan. I believe that the Islamist militia wanted to celebrate in Kabul, where life has become increasingly difficult for the population and women in particular. Over the past 12 months, Taliban chanted victory songs Monday in Kabul near the former U.S. Embassy to celebrate the first anniversary of their return to power in Afghanistan on August 15, 2021. The Islamist fundamentalist says the capital Kabul without a fight after a lightning offensive against the routed government forces thanks to the withdrawal of American and NATO troops after 20 years of conflict in the countries that has killed tens of thousands. This is the day of victory and happiness for the Muslims and the people of Afghanistan. It is the day of conquest and victory of the white flag of the Islamic Emirates government spokesman Bilal Karimi said on Twitter. To close up this edition, Germany dry up of the rain disrupt freight transport in western Germany. The lack of water is due to the summer heat wave has made the Rhine difficult to navigate, posing an additional threat to an already weakened German economy. The prospect of partial shutdowns of rivalries traffic on the world's busiest rivalries is a new headache for Germany industry, which is already suffering from the Russian gas crisis and soaring energy prices in the wake of the war in Ukraine. About 4% of the freight transported in the sea in Germany, including on the Rhine, which originated in Switzerland and flows through several countries, including France, Germany, before emptying into the sea in the Netherlands. The river has become more important in recent months because Germany wants to turn more to coal, especially to get away from its dependence on Russian gas. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.